Welcome everybody to Lit Canon. We're your hosts, B+,
B+,
to my left, and ThunderAF as me. But with JLA, the director's cut coming out.
Director's cut, that Snyder Cut. Call it what it is, but it will be known for forever.
It's officially called the Justice League Director's Cut.
But it'll never be called that. It'll always be called the Snyder Cut.
Well, the Snyder Cut coming out.
Mm-hmm. The 4-hour
marathon.
Ooh.
I wonder if there's going to be an intermission.
Well, I mean, it's not really coming out to theaters, right?
I know.
It's just coming out to...
Because I remember, like, Gods and Generals had an intermission.
Yeah.
That movie was so boring.
So long.
Okay, so yeah, the dark Justice League that we're going to get, the mature and violent Justice League. So we thought we'd go back and look back at another time that the Justice League faced their darkest hour. It involves murder, betrayal, heartbreak, rape. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Mind messing.
So we're looking at Identity Crisis.
So it should be noted that I am not personally a DC fan. Like, I struggle with some of their characters. I've always kind of found them to be too childish, too for kids, too Mary Sue.
Yeah.
And this is what you gave me to be like, no.
This is what I gave you,
This is what you gave me to convince me that I need to give DC stuff more of a try again. And congratulations, you did.
Great. I didn't even know I was fighting for that honor. I gave you that for this particular episode.
Yep.
There was no ulterior motive.
I like this.
Yeah, because this was the first big crossover in 2004, and it was like they were trying to revamp DC. Mm-hmm. So this was the first kind of foray into things are changing. We're doing more character-focused stories, and we got to tighten up the ship. But Identity Crisis. I also really loved it because it felt like a change of pace, where it really wasn't a superhero story. It was a detective story that it was in a superhero world.
Mm-hmm. It's like a psychological thriller.
Yeah. Because it starts out where, like, one of the first lines is like, there's always that false insecurity that you have for main characters. Like, it's not false insecurity. That sense of security you have for main characters, like they're not going to die. But when you start a story off with minor characters, like all of a sudden things get a little more tense.
Yeah.
So that was nice. So we have, Ralph Dibny and Firehawk.
Fire something.
I
think it's Firehawk.
But I mean, that's kind of the point, that you're not really supposed to know or care who any of these people are, or at least who is.
Yeah, I mean,
Elongated Man's got
none
a
of
little
us
bit of
would know Elongated Man if it weren't for the CW show. I would have no idea who the fuck
And this
that
was way before the CW show.
Yeah, but I would have had no grasp on who Ralph Dibny
was otherwise.
Was. Yeah, especially given that JLA has another guy like him, right, with Plastic Man, which I recognize Plastic Man. Him too.
So they make you think of, one of them's gonna die in this, drug bust gone wrong, but it's Ralph's wife, Sue.
Sue Dibny, which we also wouldn't know anything about if not for the
I don't know
CW
how accurate
show.
the Flash is on Sue Dibny's character.
Well, apparently, according to this, they're the brick and mortar of the entire Justice League.
And so, obviously, her death just hurts everybody, and there's the funeral. Well, I guess before the funeral, like, the Justice League gets on point, where you see the inner workings of how they strategize and come up and utilize each other's powers to do a crime scene.
They're a corporate team. Like, they've got their different departments. They've got
their strategies.
They've got R&D. They've got science. They've got detective. They've got muscle. They've got marketing. Who's the face and who's the? I mean, they've got departments within this superhero group.
And that was really
really
fun to see. I loved how they interacted like that.
And they all work as a oiled machine together. Cleanup crews and mind wiping and everything that has to go into cleaning up, stuff like that.
and because this isn't a superhero story, like nobody really looks good coming out of this
No.
when you start to really long-term look at it. Because obviously, like they take so much care and so much effort into the crime scene to find out what happened to Sue. Like they don't do that kind of effort for other murders, but because it's one of them.
They circle the wagons and they go a little post 9/11 on things. Sure, I guess it's okay to torture people to get information. Sure, I guess it's okay to.
Because as it's for us. So I mean, so that's not great.
Firestorm died in this. I was
Yes.
like, whoa.
Yeah. It's such a weird, just kind of. Oh yeah, and Firestorm dies.
Like,
There's
well,
like
just
no.
like there were casualties to this mass criminal roundup that we
Yeah,
had.
but it was just so abrupt, and like there was no emotion to it at all.
Well, it's essentially like being told as a flashback or like a
Well, it was like a montage.
of
It's like, oh shit, and he's dead. We're gonna create a whole new Firestorm for you guys.
to his good credit, he didn't hesitate. He just took off. Again, I kind of like this
very
old
noble.
weathered people that assume at some point they're gonna have to throw themselves on the sword.
They go after Dr. Light because of a reason unknown at first.
The mystery.
Wally West and Kyle Rayner have to pry it out of them because they weren't a part of the group, but their successors were a part of the secret group that's going on.
They are inheriting the mess.
Yeah,
of-
it's just out of pure luck they inherited the
Yeah.
mess. And you find out that Dr. Light had popped up to the satellite when the JLA was on a mission, and he finds Sue there, and he ends up raping Sue, which is a huge, like, obviously very sensitive subject.
yeah.
I don't mind them doing that. But
I'm
think
okay with it because I do feel like it furthered the overall. Because Sue
Story.
Tipney's not really much of a character in this. She's
well,
not.
She dies.
Her
Yeah, she was-
existence.
I mean,
Her existence is like, and lack of existence is like the protagonist of the story. But her as a character is not really important.
but the
to
love
this.
that you have for her is the character.
I don't have any love for her.
Well,
I
the
give
fans
two.
did.
I gave two shits about her.
I
And
just think, I mean, it is kind of very
it's a little.
in
it
the
has a little
fridgy,
fridge.
girlfriend in the fridge.
Little fridgy,
Because
but
obviously
there was
she has
story to it
yeah.
that developed.
But it was a story for the man. It
Yeah,
was a story for
which again, the quality of it, I'll allow it
okay.
because I'm pretty. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
you know. But again, I
And
guess
even-
because I don't have an attachment to
But
her, I was
it
like,
feels so much like shock. But yeah, it feels so much like shock value though, because even that ends up being a red herring
Yeah.
and just that happened. Dr. Light's a rapist now, and let's make him creepy for the next few years.
he's pretty creepy.
Because like overall, the main
I got fifth.
nice.
you.
The main revelation and problem is the mind wiping, and not only just the mind wiping of the villains, it was mind wiping of Batman. That was finally like the oh shit. I mean, I see the escalation, but the fact that we did so much destruction with the rape thing. Like that's not the big card. We're going to 10, then we're going to a 9, but we're going to treat it as 11.
Yeah. The reveal of Batman having been wiped, I had guessed it when I was reading it, but I was still like, ooh, because he's the one that will never just let it go.
Yeah.
Like, he just cannot.
Yeah.
So there's no way that doesn't come back at some
Oh
point.
yeah, it becomes a whole thing.
Yeah. But that's great. That's great character development because he is the one that would never be able to let something like that lie.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, the story was definitely a look at the lower level of heroes and
Like
like the dark secrets that Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman have to hold.
or they just don't
that they have
involve
to-
themselves in it, or they turn a blind eye to.
Yeah, because like they
So
imply
they
that
can be-
Superman knew what was going on, but he just turned a blind eye to the situation.
Yes, because it's of questionable morality, but
Yeah, but it had to be done.
But they're not wrong. That's,
yeah,
like
it's more of like is it their right to change somebody's personality? But well, that personality is dangerous. I don't know.
that personality is going to lead to multiple people being
that's-
raped and murdered. Yeah, I think it's okay.
I love the fight with Deathstroke.
Oh my God, that was amazing. And I loved that. It really stood out to me that they mentioned that Bruce is they're like his fighting style is like Bruce is like him and Batman are.
yeah,
equals.
Yeah, I loved that
level.
line because then you see Deathstroke kick so much ass, it elevates him and Batman. He's like, oh
Yes.
shit, both of them can do this shit.
Yeah.
Because he's just as good as Batman.
Made Deathstroke seem like a real badass.
Yeah, where like it was, it was his mind that
is
overall
the real
where he,
weapon.
he knew how to plan.
That's the real weapon. The body
Mm-hmm.
enhancements are just,
Just
additional.
tools.
Just additional window dressing, condiments. The fact that he fucking lays them out. He doesn't. He takes no
He's
quarter.
paid for a job.
Yeah, and I loved that. I loved the criminal
The
hideout.
little underworld of all the assassins.
Like the mall food court for bad guys is what it made me think of. They've got coffee. They're just sitting around chatting.
I love that this series kind of took a focus on building a world for the villains.
Yeah.
Because you had the calculator now. He's a hustler trying to get people money and connections and whatnot. So he's he's this network that it would make sense that there would be something like that.
Absolutely, like the concierge.
Yeah, there would be definitely just some kind of group get together, trade notes. Who's alive? Who's dead? Who has new powers? Who's gone violent?
Who's still competition for work? Who's not?
Yeah.
But yeah, the fight with Deathstroke in particular was phenomenal, and also that is when we get the reveal that or the conversation between Oliver and Wally West, and Oliver basically has to be like, grow up.
Grow up.
Grow up. We've been doing this
the Silver Age wasn't as happy-go-lucky as we thought it was.
Yeah, well, it's like, keep your judgments to yourself. You haven't been doing the dirty work for that long yet, and everyone will at some point have to make a judgment call.
Yeah.
And I really liked that, and I liked that it came from a non-powered superhero to a powered superhero.
And then Jean's attacked as well.
That was a good last panel, because it really
her being hung.
some drama, because I was like, and Sue had already died, so I thought, well, this one might die too.
Well, it was killing wives.
Yep. I would have liked a male spouse or something to have taken a little.
You mean like die?
Well, not die, but just be attacked. And
what do you think happened with Tim Drake?
Well, that was
and
his dad. That was his dad. I wanted a male spouse.
A father-son relationship is nothing to a husband and wife.
Well, no, not that. Just in the same way that so it's from a feminist standpoint. So it's not just the women getting fridged.
Okay.
Because if I'm being honest, I gave two shits about most of the spouse characters. I didn't have a history with them. I have something of a history.
Like a lot of them hadn't been very.
But I don't give two shits about the Atom and his wife. Ex-wife. That apparently got half of his stuff in the divorce, but now to be independent, she's going to give it all back.
Great. Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
She just wanted to prove how good of a lawyer she was.
Well, good for her, I guess. But I mean, again, I didn't particularly care about them. Like, I would have cared if it had been Lois Lane.
Yeah.
Or it had been like a character that I was much more familiar with, but I just wasn't familiar with either of their characters, so I just didn't care. I'm not that familiar with Tim Drake's dad. I really liked the whole dynamic, and I would have liked to see more of that. But the reveal at the end isn't to me nearly as important as the reveal about Batman's.
But I guess
memories and that kind of stuff.
So yeah, the story blew its load with the Batman reveal.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we just gotta conclude this. Here's your villain. Let's get out. The killer is Jean, by the way. It's Jean Laurie, Cat Adams' ex-wife. She did the whole thing. She accidentally killed Sue. I think her plan was just to hurt her, right?
I think so.
I didn't mean to kill her, but I grew a little bit too big in her brain. Her step was to go into her brain, step on it, to give her a little bit of a stroke or something. Just a little stroke. And then...
A little seizure, something like that.
And that would have, gotten everyone back to their wives and their loved ones.
That would have been enough to circle the wagons.
Yeah. But instead, she goes too far, kills Sue, then burns her corpse to hide the evidence.
Which, again, is where one of the places where you really get to see all the different teams come together as the Justice League, the Justice Society, the Teen Titans, they all.
And then she sets herself up to hang, and then she knew Adam would come and save her. So she's off the suspect list now. Like, brilliant.
It was pretty
She's
clever.
a lawyer, brilliant.
Yeah.
And she's getting weapons from her Suicide Squad connections.
Her hanging herself as like a I don't cry for attention or even accidentally hurting Sue. Like, that was an accident. After that, that's when she becomes the real villain.
Oh, yeah, because at that point, like I said, she gets herself off the suspect list, and then she frames Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
Because she hires him to go after Tim, or not Tim Drake's dad, and then she also sends Tim Drake's dad a gun.
Yeah.
So she knew that she'll figure, oh...
That's when she just full leaned into it. It wasn't an accident.
Fuck, I gotta...
It's intentional now.
Yeah, I mean, she's got to protect herself now, and her love for Adam. So she ends up finally confessing. And Adam just has her locked up. And then Adam disappears. He goes small, so small that he goes into another universe, I think. And yeah, Jean. So Jean's in the asylum at that point. I guess that's it for her. For this story, she ends up becoming Eclipso.
Yeah, but I mean, just the fact that they're not, like, the big legacy characters are not major players in this, and I like that.
But yeah, I love that. Again, it wasn't like a good guy versus bad guy, a big, superhero story. It was a detective story set in their world where, you finally get the shades of gray that everyone's been wanting.
Yeah, and like just the damage done. Like, damage done. Like, it did actually kind of make me think of The Boys. Like, if superheroes were real. I mean, obviously, The Boys is a very grim take on if superheroes were real. But, the corporateness of it, the business aspects of being a superhero.
They developed a system.
Yeah. Like, there's a court system. There's, like, the cops are, I didn't say anything. This is just the world, and we've all learned to be people in it.
All right, well, thank you everybody for listening. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. To Lit Cannon.
Watching,
subscribe,
and listening.
Like, share, comment if there's anything you want us to talk about, or if what we are blatantly wrong about, or if you disagree with any of our opinions. Actually, you know what? I don't want to get into that. If you disagree with us, fuck off.
That's the spirit.
We are your hosts. We are your hosts.
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain. She's the captain now. I'll take us away.
Bye.
No, okay. Bye.